Right, now we're ready to start. Okay, so as we started seeing this morning, we're going to now today start the next, like what we'll call angle within the sugya Bari ושמא Bari Adif, where up until now we've really been discussing primarily the man de Amar that Bari ושמא, the Bari is Adif, and we give a lot of different svaros. Behind that, what exactly the lamdis of a tainas Bari is, and why does a tainas Bari win? And so on and so forth. And today we're really going to explore the other side that's there in the Gemara, the man d'amar that says that by the case of mani l'biyadacha halamar eni yodeya, Rav Nachman tells us in the Gemara, you're putter because of uke b'mona b'chezkas mare. Right, the guy's putter in that scenario, and the Gemara presents that as far as uke b'mona b'chezkas mare. So we're going to take a look at that. A little bit more. And the truth is, many of the Rishonim paskin, like Rav Nachman Shita of Uki Memona V'Chezkas Mari, that the Bari is not Adif. So it's a very, very important opinion to be looking at. So let's start off with a very, very simple, straightforward diak within the Lashon Gemara. If you have your Gemaras open, please look inside, and then we can start things off over here. So the Gemara tells us. Again, we begin from the very beginning of the Gemara with the Itmar, Mani l'biyadacha halam eni yodeya, Yehuda Rav Huna say Chayiv, Rav Nachman Rav Yochanan say you're potter. And the Gemara presents the two sides. Rav Huna Rav Yehuda Amrei Chayiv. The reason, of course, is because Bari ושמא Bari is Adif. Rav Nachman Rav Yochanan Amrei you're potter. Uki mamon v'chezkas Mari. Now, a simple reading of that Gemara. If you were writing the Gemara, again, we're not going to take a poll about this right now, but the pashtus is that the response, the counter, right, to the shita that says Bari ושמא Bari is Adif, so you're chayiv to pay. The counter argument, in other words, the other opinion should have come along and said, no, you're potter from paying because lav Bari Adif. The tainas Bari is not Adif. A Bari and a Shema, the Bari doesn't automatically win. The tainas Bari by itself does not, it's not an automatic winning thing. Lav Bari Adif, right? He says Bari is Adif, and he says Lav Bari Adif. Yes, no, right? That's the way we would have expected the Gemara to be presented to us. What the Gemara does say, though, right, is not that Lav Bari Adif. The Gemara presents the idea of Mani l'biyadacha halamar eni yodeya. You're potter from paying because uke mamona b'chezkas mari. There's a chezkas mari, some kind of the owner has a chazaka, what we're going to speak about in terms of today called a chezkas mamon, and the chezkas mamon is going to win. And the diuk lashon that's there in the Gemara would get one to believe, would give you the impression that the Gemara is saying is the issue over here that Rav Nachman has, and the reason why Rav Nachman says you're potter is not so much because the tainas Bari doesn't have strength to it. It's not so much because the tainas Bari is not a meaningful thing. But the reason why you don't win is because there's something else going on in this particular case. In this case over here, we have the idea of ukim amoni b'chezkas mari, and that chezkas mamon is a strong thing, and the tainas Bari is not able to beat out that. So now, right, the Gemara basically has two opinions. One man d'amar says the tainas Bari wins over the chezkas mamon. The other man d'amar says no, a tainas Bari is not able to win over a chezkas mamon. Okay, if that would be the analysis of the two shitos, or the presentation of the two shitos, of course, what we would then have to be discussing is, well, what's the yesod of that machlokas? Why does he say the Bari can win over chezkas mamon, and why does he say the Bari can't win over chezkas mamon? If the chezkas mamon wins and beats out over the Bari, so that's not clear to us on what exactly that machlokas is all about. One might also, if you're looking at again pure Lashon HaGemara, which is always important to do, because without looking at the wording of the Gemara, without analyzing the text, we don't get anywhere. We also have to be honest and point out that the emphasis, there is another way of reading the Gemara itself, right? Where the Gemara says, to look back inside one more time, Rav Nachman Rav Yochanan Amri Potter, Uki Mamona B'chezkas Mari. So it could be, again, I'm not saying this is the mashmos of the Gemara, but it's not hard to read into those words the following thing. The Reb Nachman and Reb Yochanan really hold that the Tainas Bari is lav adif. The Bari actually doesn't win. Now, what the Gemara tells us is, and the result of the fact that the Tainas Bari has no strength to it, the result of the fact that the Tainas Bari doesn't win is that Uke Mamona Bechezkas Mari. The Mamon stays Bechezkas Mari, and whoever the owner of that, or the possessor of that Mamon was, he's going to continue with that. In other words, is the Gemara here, when it presents the line Uke Mamona Bechezkas Mari, giving me the tam and the svara behind why Reb Nachman says you're potter, or is the line of Uke Mamona Bechezkas Mari just coming and telling me the result of the fact that Reb Nachman says that you're going to be potter? But the reason why Reb Nachman says you're potter is because maybe he denies the strength of a Tainas Bari. Okay? So that's also a question that's going to have to be analyzed and seen when we're looking through the sugya over here. Okay, so with no further ado, let's jump very quickly into the words of the Ramban that you had in Baba Basra. The Ramban has a very, very clear thing that he says over here about this sugya. Again, remember the Ramban was referring to the sugya there in Baba Basra of who Arava. There was the boat that was floating up in the water at a dock somewhere. Two people were fighting over it. Zelmer Shali, and it's mine. He says it's mine. He says it's mine. Or Shalavosai, or he says Shalavosai. Look there in the Gemara, and no one has any raya either way. There's no shtar. There's no edim. Right? So the Gemara there paskins a famous psak called Kol Da'alim Gavar. Whoever's the stronger one, Kol Da'alim Gavar. He's going to be the win. He's going to be the win. The stronger guy is going to be victorious. Again, discussion, the Rishonim, most learn that means whoever has a stronger raya, to whatever raya you can possibly bring. Many Rishonim learn that it means they actually physically fight it out. But Kol Da'alim Gavar, we can't pass in that one, and we leave it to them. We leave it to them to deal with. There's machlokas and Rishonim between the Rashbam and the Rush. I was speaking with somebody before in Beis Medrash time. According to some, the idea of Kol Da'alim Gavar means exactly that because we have no idea what to do, because it's such there's no rayos, there's such a big suffix here, that we're masalik ourselves. We remove ourselves from the picture, and we're not going to pass in anything. Just leave it to you guys to decide. Other Rishonim are masbir that no, Kol Da'alim Gavar, it actually is a psak that the Bezdin is giving, and the psak is to say that we're going to let you do a Kol Da'alim Gavar because whoever the actual real winner is, he's probably going to be the guy that's going to devote himself more to fighting and winning in that particular case. And the way we're mevarer, what the emes is by leaving it to some kind of a maybe even physical fight that's there. So the Ramban comes along and says about those Gemaras that you have all these different opinions, all these different options of what do you do when you have a suffix in Dinei Mamonos. Sometimes you say Kol Da'alim Gavar, sometimes you say Yachloku, right? You make a compromise and you're Yachloku. Sometimes Yachloku comes along with a Shavua for each guy to take his part. Sometimes you're exempt from making a Shavua. Says the Ramban, reading more inside for a couple of moments, and immediately bibari ubari. But all of that is only when each side has a tainis bari. But ושמא, but when one guy is tiny bari and the other guy is saying, I don't really know, Bakuluhu bari adif, Says the Ramban, Bari is always going to win. Why does Bari win against the Shema? Well, if there's no Chezkas Mamon, the Bari is the thing that wins. After all, whatever kind of Chezkas Mamon you have, whether or not the Chezkas Mamon means I have possession over it, or whether or not Chezkas Mamon is the concept of a chazaka, of what's called a marakama. I might have a physical possession, but if I was the last known actual owner, that also counts as a Chezkas Mamon. It says the Ramban, and that was, he gives an example of the case of Machla Par B'Chamor, and it's in doubt who exactly the owner of the newborn Vlad was, because we didn't see when that baby was born when he made the exchange. So over there, any kind of case like that, afilu babari ושמא, the chazaka de mamona is going to be a difa. The chezkas mamon is always going to win. And the Ramban points out, again, we're going to summarize in a second, the Ramban points out we don't hold halacha l'maisa like sumchas, rather we hold like the Rabbanan Shita that say, Zekla gadol medina motzi mechaveiro, alav haraya. So when you're faced with a tainas bari against the chezkas mamon is going to win. But in the absence of a chezkas mamon, the tainas bari is going to be victorious. Now, the Ramban, there's a couple of important points here in this Ramban. Some of them we're going to ignore for right now. But for our purposes, this moment, let's start off as follows. One thing you see very clearly from the Ramban is the Ramban is learning in our sugya that the man d'Amar, Reb Nachman, who says that the guy is putter from paying, right? You're putter. The reason behind that is not because he thinks that a tainas bari doesn't have a strength to it, it's not a strong quality taina. Adarabah, the reason why you win is chezkas mamon, right? But in the absence of a chezkas mamon, if that's not there, then everyone agrees, at least if you're not sumchas, then everyone's going to agree that the tainas bari is going to win. Bari ושמא, the bari is going to be adif. So the Ramban is once again very clearly telling us that our Gemara, when it says Oki Mamona b'chezkas mare, that our Gemara is giving us the reason and the svara behind Reb Nachman's din. Reb Nachman doesn't argue with the idea of a tainas bari. Reb Nachman just feels that Uki Mamona b'chezkas mare is a stronger psak, is a stronger factor, and that's going to override the tainas bari. But that's why the Ramban is free now to come along and say that the moment that I don't have any form of a chezkas mamon, neither a muchsak or a concept of marakama, Zok the Ramban, the chezkas bari is going to win. Now, which is certainly a very fair and legitimate way to be looking at our Gemara over here. One thing is interesting is the Ramban made another diuk. He doesn't tell you he's making a diuk, but it sounds like the Ramban is making a very interesting diuk over here in our Gemara. Now, so I think it was Jakey before had asked a very, very good, made a very good point and a good ha'ara during the Seder time that in our Gemara, the Gemara used an expression, you're pater because uke mamona v'chezkas mare. And in Jakey's vast Bekias and Shas, he was asking that, hey, isn't the normal expression, the Gemara speaks about the idea of when you have a doubt, is it mine, is it yours? Okay? If you're the muchsak and I'm trying to get the money away from you, you have to prove yourself. And if you can't prove, then the muchsak is going to win. But that expression, seems to be very conspicuously not used in our Gemara. Right? Our Gemara only speaks about the line of Uke Mamona b'chezkas mare, and what Rabbeinu was asking before is whether or not our Gemara is expressing something different than the regular concept of Motzi Mechaver Levaraya, or is just another way of saying the classic rule of a muchsak and Motzi Mechaver Levaraya. So when you look back in the Ramban that you either have on the page in front of you, on the screen in front of you, the Ramban says something interesting. When the Ramban says that when there's no chezkas mamon, right? I'm now in the print, at least the way I have it, is 3 lines up from the bottom. Afilu bari ושמא, the chazaka de mamon is adifa. Okay, when there's a chezkas mamon, that's adif. And listen carefully. How does he explain it? The lo kaimelan kesimchas klal. We don't hold like sumchas. It says yachloku. We don't hold like that. Ella, we hold kirabanan. The amri zeh klal gadol bedin. Okay? Even if the nizik is on Shema and the bari mazing the bari is Shema, we said motzi mechaver of haraya. So the Ramban there in Baba Basra Davka does say that the svara behind the Manda Amr that the bari doesn't win is hamotzi mechaver of haraya. Okay, it is important to note that, right? That the Ramban doesn't seem to differentiate between the terms motzi mechavero. Right, that concept of Amna Muchsak, and if you want to be Motzi from me, we have to prove. He doesn't differentiate between that and the line that our Gemara uses of Oki Mamona, בחזקת Mrya. So we're going to use that as a springboard now to begin our discussion here of the Gemara. Okay, like we said, we have a very clear comment made by the Ramban, but there's quite a bit that has to be analyzed over here, and what exactly the role of the Chezkas Mamon is, and how does the Chezkas Mamon actually work? Now, the Chora, there's two concepts. Okay, and this is really what we're going to be medayik in our Gemara, and for some of the Rishonim here, is that there's a tremendous chiddush in our Gemara. Okay, and our Gemara is establishing a principle that is not necessarily discussed in other places out there in Shas. Okay, let's give an example. Okay, so we're going to start off with the Gemaras in Bava Kama, Daf Mem Vav Amud Beis. Those are the famous Gemaras that we've read already before. The Gemara is about Amotzi Mechavero, Alav Haraya. Okay, so the Gemara, again, we didn't read this piece of Gemara. We discussed the general concept. But let's read inside it together over here. Amr Shmuel Bar Nachmani, Minayin Lamotzi Mechavero Alav Haraya. Where does that din come from? Yeshanemar Mi Bal Devarim Yigash Aleim. Moshe Rabbeinu instructs Klal Yisrael. Check with Yosef at the end of Kisisa, or is at the end of I think it's Kisisa or Mishpatim. And the Mishpatim, I think. I'm pretty one of those two. Whatever it is, you can check us up later.
I think it's Mishpatim.
Okay, we'll go with that. But the end and the Mishpatim. Mi Bal Devarim Yigash Aleim. Moshe Rabbeinu tells us like this: whoever is the Bal Devarim, if you have some issues, some Devarim that you want to take up with somebody, Yigash Aleim, you go to the Bezdin. Okay, so the Gemara is medayik from those words. Yagish raya aleim. It's your job to present a raya to the bezdin. You're a bal devar. You have words that you want to fight about, an issue that you want to raise. So yagish raya aleim. You have to bring some kind of a raya to the bezdin. Now the Gemara says, "Masker for the Rav Ashi, lama likra." Why didn't the pasuk to teach me that? Again, each line of the Gemara is important here. Lama likra svarahu. Motzi Mechaver should be a very, very pashut svara. The kav le ke'eva. If you have a ke'eva, if you have a pain, as the be'aser, you go to the doctor. Okay? Of course, what the Gemara is expressing is that if you got a problem with the other guy, so deal with it, right? Deal with your problem. And if you can't deal with it, so then you're stuck. Right? But if you have an issue, you have to deal with your issues. The Gemara now has a back and forth. Right? Is Motzi Mechaver a pasuk or is it a svara? Maybe the pasuk itself is teaching us a side din, which says that when there's a fight in Bezdin, the first person that we turn to hear what his issues is the tovei, is the person making the claim. And we learn that from the pasuk of Mi Bal Devarim Yigash Aleim, Yagish Devarav Aleim. He's the one who has to present his words first to the Bezdin, like that. Okay, now what the Gemara presents over here when it speaks of Motzi Mechaver Alav Haraya, right? Whether it's a pasuk, whether it's a svara, okay, there's a very important Pnei Yoshua on that Gemara there in Bava Kama Daf Mem Vav. The Pnei Yoshua says even though the Gemara seems to say that the pasuk is not really needed to teach me about Motzi Mechaver, and it's a svara, Pnei Yoshua shows a number of areas, a number of examples where Lamaisa you wouldn't need a pasuk to teach me the absolute rule of Motzi Mechaver. Right, so that's what we're going to keep on saying, whether it's a pasuk or a svara. Okay? But the idea that the Gemara represents over there seems to be a very, very basic halacha. Right? And again, I just want to chazer over some of the terms that we've been using to try to make sure they're clear, because soon we're going to start fine tuning on the ideas. Motzi Mechaver Alav Haraya basically says, okay, that if that guy is the muchsak, okay, the phrase muchsak means that he actually right now literally has physical possession over the item. He's a muchsak, meaning he's machzik, he's holding on to the item in his hands, in his possession. A muchzak, okay, just to make sure we got all the terms as clear as we can, does not necessarily have a raya with like a shtar or edim that the item is his. What the muhzak has going for him is that he has possession over the thing. And possession means something to us. That is a somewhat of a raya, maybe even a pretty strong raya, but it is definitely an indicator that the item that you have in your muhzakos, in your possession, mistama, belongs to you. We're going to look at you as the bailim over. And if the other guy is trying to change that, if he wants to get that money away from a muhzak, so he's going to have to show that despite the fact that he has possession, which is in and of itself is a raya that he's the owner, but again, we have no previous knowledge. We don't have a shtar that it's his. We don't have Adam that it's his. The only thing he's going for him is the physical, being a muhzak, literally having possession over the item. If you're the muhzak, right, the other guy's going to have to prove that the thing is his in order to be able to take it. You have to take it away. Mi bal devarim. If you're the guy who has the issue, yigash aleim, you have to go to the bezin and try to change, the bezin's mind about that and try to show us why his possession is not all that meaningful. Or the svara, right? The kavle ke'eva azil be'asya. Now, there's a very, very different concept of what a cheskas mamon might mean also. And this is part of the breakthrough, perhaps, in our sugya over here that we're discussing. Okay? Let's take a look at this marik that you have also on the Amar Makama sheet. The marik writes a very, very interesting chiddush. Again, this is obviously a longer tshuva than marik. I'm just bringing out one line. But this is the line that the marik is a very, very interesting chiddush that the marik has. Marik explains the whole idea of a chazaka, right? So we're gonna read together here to take a look and just chap some of the background of the marik also. Mitam de'ein lanu levados hanolad v'hishtanos. We cannot be mevada. We can't make up new things or change. El mishas ro'oseino osam. What we can do is say, when we see with our eyes that something changed, that there's a shinui in something, or there was something nolad, something else came up that wasn't there before. Fine, mishas re'oseino also, when we see it, we know that changed. How do I know that up until the time that I see that something changed, we assume that it stayed the way it was? So that's a famous Gemara. Kediyafina la beperakam b'dechulin and daf yud. The Gemara on there in Chulun Daf Yud asks the question: how do I know that there's such a concept called what we learned from Daf Tes, a chazaka de meikara? Okay, chazaka de meikara once again meant that if this is the way something was meikara, right? If this is the way it was originally, we assume that it stayed the same until we were able to prove otherwise. Again, I'm hoping you remember some of the sugyas there in Daf Tes, the tosis we did, right? About a chazaka demeikara. Yeah? Okay, sounds good. Now, says the Marik, how do I know that the Gemara, what does the Gemara tell us? What's the makor of the idea of a chazaka demeikara? So we know when we're dealing with a nega saras, or nige batim, a nega that's there in somebody's house, so the company is supposed to go in and inspect and check whether or not the nega that the balabaya sees actually counts as a nega tzaras. And he quotes one phrase out of the Gemara, v'yatsa kohen min abayis. The kohen leaves the bias, and then he paskins for us, yes, there's a nega in that bias or matami the bias. The Gemara there in Chulun Daf Yud says, whoa, what do you mean? How does the kohen paskin after he leaves the house that house has tumas tzaras? Maybe the nega went away. He's not in the house anymore. He's not seeing that the neg is there. How can he paskin that the bias is tummy b'tumas negam nige batim? He's not there to see it. Says the Gemara, you see that the Torah is working with an assumption, and you see from that pasuk of v'yatsa kohen min bias that you have the right to assume the concept of a chazaka. If there was a nega there a minute ago, it's probably still there now. If there was a nega 5 minutes ago, it's probably still there now until I actually see that the change had taken place. We assume that things stay the same as they are until you see the change. Says the Maharik Chiddush, Mishum Kach, based on that principle, Dinuhu D'ikal Meimer Uki Mamona B'chezkas Mari Kenegda. Says the Maharik, now a tremendous Chiddush. But based on that psak, we're able to say that that's the concept of a Chezkas Mamo. Kamo Kain Ein Lon Levados Ishtanos Mamon Miyad Bailov Ki'im Kasher Yuchra. We never assume that ownership changes, that the Mamon goes from the hands of its Bailam to somebody else, Ki'im Basher Yuchra, unless we're forced to say that, unless we see that, unless we know that change had actually taken place. In other words, hopefully very simple words, the Arik here has a massive chiddush, right? The Marik has a massive chiddush where he tells us that the concept of a chezkas mamon is identical, is the same concept of every hazaka d'meikara that exists in halacha. Like the same way we learned that, let's say for argument's sake, when a girl has a chezkas haguf, right? Remember from Daf Tes, she was born a besula, she's probably still like that. Chezkas haguf, right? What was is going to stay the same. Says the Ma'arik, that exact same principle is true when it comes to chezkas mama. If you were the bailam of the mamon, the chezkas mamon tells us that we assume that you will remain the bailam of that mamon. Nothing changes until we know otherwise. Okay? Now listen carefully, like, to make sure we got the difference between the Ma'arik's chiddush and the basic pashup pshat in a motzi mechavero olav haraya. Right? A motzi mechavero olav haraya just tells me that, listen, we don't know whose the thing is, right? But if you're right now a current physical muchzak, you're holding on to the thing, it's in your hands, and that guy, Yenim, is trying to get it away from you. So it's Yenim, it's that guy's job, Yenim's job, to try to make sure that he can prove that the thing isn't. But otherwise, my current raya is going to win the thing out for me. And again, what's the current raya that I have? The fact that I am unmute and give me the one word, starts with the mem, ends with the kuf. The current raya that I have going in my favor is I am a muchzak. I'm a muchzak, right? And that means that the thing stays in my possession. Okay. The Ma'arik says, I'm going to tell you what a chezkas mamon is. Chezkas mamon doesn't mean that my physical possession proves to me currently that the thing is mine. Rather, what a chezkas mamon is, the Ma'arik says, right, is that if once we know that the mamon was mine, right, that's the way it's always going to be. Right? Until there's some kind of proof positive that a change was made. Exactly the same principle that we apply by regular classic chazakas. Now let's understand why that's a chiddush, right? I think we probably do, but let's just spell it out to make sure it's mamish on the table for us. When you're dealing with something like a chezkas aguf, right? So we totally understand the idea that like a physical chazaka, right? A chazaka de meikara, we understand that there's a neged saras in the wall of the house. The girl was born a besula, right? So that's what it is. That's the way things stay. Like we know that actually is what happens, right? I don't have to assume that something changed. There are Gemaras in Gittin in the third paragraph they speak about a chezkas chayim. Okay, you have a right, to assume. Like Gemara gives a case of a Bas Yisrael who's married to a Kohen, where she's allowed to eat truma because of the marriage to the Kohen. The Kohen goes to Medina Sayyam. He's gone, right? He's supposed to be coming back who knows when. But she's allowed to eat truma. Maybe there's a suffix. Maybe the Kohen's not alive anymore. And she's also, no, chezkas chayim. You have every right to assume. The guys thought that. And the reason behind that is because that's true. Because that actually is the chazaka that's there. The way things are, they stay the same. When it comes to using chezkas mamon in that fashion, that's actually not 100% pashut. That's not a physical reality that we say that the way things are, it stays that you are alive now, mistam, the guy's alive in an hour from now. There's a neged saras on the wall. It's probably still, there. Again, I guarantee you any mold that you saw in your dorm rooms when you left yeshiva, that is still there. That's the way things are. Chazaka de meikara, right? But to tell me that when you have somebody who had a chezkas mamon, okay, that the svara tells me that, oh, if you were the bailim, then you're always the bailim, right? That's a chiddush that the Marik comes along and says that we're not dealing with the concept of a muchzak, but rather a chazaka de meikara. Now, here's where we can begin to take a look at our sugya a little bit better, and hopefully come to some very clear, very, very clear things. Perhaps, our Gemara here is being mechadesh to us the following. Let's take a look back at the machlokas between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Nachman. Rabbi Yehuda says, Bari ושמא, the Bari is up. The Tainus Bari wins. Rabbi Nachman says, Oki Mamona בחזקת מריה. Oki Mamona בחזקת מריה. So perhaps what Rabbi Nachman was coming along and telling us was, remember like we started off with, the Bari really could win. Like the Ramban says in Baba Basra, Bari means something to us. So what is Rabbi Nachman telling us when he says, Oki Mamona בחזקת מריה? So the pshat over here might be as follows. Listen, a tainus bari is a strong thing, and a tainus bari, listen carefully, maybe even beats out, maybe even wins over a muchzak. Maybe it does, right? The fact that he's a muchzak in something, right? Okay, possession, means something, but the other guy has a tainus bari. That it says that's also meaningful. Tainus bari means something. Like this. So maybe when we look at the rule of Hamotzi Mechaver Alav Haraya, we will be able to say, listen, let's come back to that Gemara in Bava Kama. Mi Baal Devarim Yigash Eleya. Whoever the Baal Devarim is, if you have the issue, you go to Bezdin. That's exactly what I'm doing. I have a Tainas Bari. And we learned all last week that the Tainas Bari actually means something. I have a Tain against you. There's a Raya. How can I make that claim? With such a chutzpah to make the claim to your face, if I know you can be machish, a bari tov, that means something. And that maybe that can win out over a muchzak. What our Gemara is telling us is that Reb Nachman says, no, I'm going to tell you why the bari doesn't win. Maybe it's coming along and saying to us that we're not dealing with a chezkas mamo, but rather, with a muchzak rather, but rather there's a bigger concept, a stronger principle called a chazaka de meikara. There's a chezkas mare. The bailim have a chazaka de meikara over that item. The things that were, if you've been the bailim over that mammon, you're going to remain the bailim over that mammon. That's the way things are going to stay. And your tainas bari is not stronger than a chazaka de meikara, than a real chezkas mama, right? Because what a chazaka says is that until we know with a raya brura that a change was made, we're not able to change that. So there might be an interesting svara that your tainas bari brings to the table, right? But that's not enough to change a chazaka de meikara. So what we're pointing out now, right, is that Reb Nachman's shita, it might be based, on a novel. This is found in the Marik again, but we're saying the Makor might be already back now from Reb Nachman shita here, that a chezkas mammon is not just a concept of a muchzak, but is a much stronger type of chazaka, of a classic chazaka de meikara, just like any kind of a chezkas aguf. And for that, as strong as a tainas bari might be, the bari is not able to beat out over that. That can't happen. Okay? Now, what we're going to be driving at now, just to throw out to the crowd, before we start to analyze further these ideas, is that perhaps that is exactly the machlokas that's going on over here in our sugya. Remember we said before, so why does Rabbi Yehuda say that the bari beats out over a chazaka? Like, why yes and why no? So maybe the point of contention is exactly about this understanding of what exactly Uki Mamona B'Chezkas Mari is going to be. Reb Nachman in the Gemara says Uki Mamona B'Chezkas Mari is a new chiddush that says that Chezkas Mari, there's a chazaka de meikara, a real chezkas mamon that you have. It's yours. And the Tainis Bari is not a strong enough raya to tell me the birur, to tell me 100% clear that the chazaka changed. It's not. Rabbi Yehuda, who says that Bari ושמא Bari Adif, says, no, I totally disagree with that. There's one principle, and one principle only, when it comes to a chezkas mama. You have the idea of a muchsak. And a muchsak means when we don't really know what to do, we say that possession is enough of a right to say the thing stays by you. But the other guy is a tainas bari, and the tainas bari is a very, very legitimate taina. Right? So when there's a tainas bari against the muchsak, that's where Rabbi Yehuda says, Bari ושמא Bari Adif. Right? Because he's arguing on the whether or not there's this second aspect and second element of a chezkas mama. According to Rabbi Yehuda, one more time, chezkas mama is only a content of a muchsak. Right now you have possession, we assume it's yours. But that idea of a muchsak is not the strongest raya in the world, right? So maybe his tainas bari can win out. But Nachman comes along and says, no, a chezkas mamon is much more than a muchsak. A chezkas mamon, and again, we were being medayik before, that's why the Gemara doesn't really use the term over here of a motzi mechaber of a raya. We say, uke mamon b'chezkas mari. There's a chezkas mamon that he has. It's like every other chazaka de meikara, and that for sure is going to be strong enough to beat out over a right. And even in theory, Rabbi Yehuda would agree with that if there was such a concept of a chezkas mamon in the sense of a chazaka de meikara. But the machlokas in the Gemara is going to be whether or not there is such a concept of a chezkas mamon at all, entirely. Now, Lamaisa, okay, that discussion about what the gather and what the nature of a chezkas mamon is, again, according to the mahalach we're presenting in the Gemara, maybe that's a machlokas here between Rav Nachman and Rabbi Yehuda, but there for sure is a documented machlokas amongst some of the Gedolei Achronim about that point. We'll take a look at this machlokas ksos and asivis that you had on your Marmakomos. Let me just pull out my ksos and asivis over here because I like reading from inside a little bit better. Sorry. Okay, so let's go like this. We're gonna discuss. There's a very interesting chiddush over here in the ksos and the asivis. And perhaps we need just to be masbir a little bit more. Again, it could be you got this all. Show of hands, we got through all of this. Give me like these things. Only one thumbs up. Interesting, Yecharus for even did not put his thumbs up. How that could happen. And I know Shemazama knows this. That's for sure true. Okay, so we'll go a little bit slower. I'm assuming that the shtika meant we didn't quite get up to here. So whether or not you saw or didn't get up to, we're going to start with the psakim and the Shulchan Aruch. It's the halacha that the ksos and asivis argue about. So the din is that when a person is pasal eidos, okay, where he's not able to be made in a bezdin. So the Mechaber brings down a din that a guy in order to be pasal eidos, if it's a psul that's midoraisa, the psul is automatic, and even without announcing and denouncing the guy in bezdin and like proclaiming to everybody this guy is pasal eidos, the psul is an automatic thing. Okay, a psul that's only midrabanan. Again, you can look in various gemaras what that means. So that is only going to be the guy is only going to be pasal eidos after bezdin officially announced that this person was in violation or whatever the isurim were. We're going to read inside the Ramah right now. Even when a person is officially pasal eidos, that's only when he sure is pasal eidos. Aval suffik. But if we're not sure if a guy is pasal eidos, we assume he's not. Okay? Kigo, an example. Heyed bebezdin. The guy gave eidos. And subsequent to his Haggadas eidos, Adam came along and testified that this guy had some psul de oraisa. The only thing is, we don't know, and the Adam don't know, whether or not he was over the Avera that made him puzzle before he gave the Eidos or after he gave this Eidos. Okay? So let's say for argument's sake, just to make a case clear, so we can follow the Ksos. The guy is made that Reuven owes Shimon money. Okay? The Bezdin Paskin, Reuven has to pay the money. Okay? After that, we find out that the aid was puzzle. If the aid was puzzle before the Eidos, Shimon has to return the money to Reuven. If the aid first did his Avera after that Eidos, then Shimon keeps his money and he doesn't have to give it back to Reuven. Okay, because he won that case. Says the Ramah Paskins, Mukminon Gavra Aches Kaso. We establish the chazaka for the guy, V'chol Mashahayid Kasher, Ad Yadin and the Abra Kodem Lachin. Whatever he was made is kosher, all of that Eidos still stands, until the moment that we find out it was puzzle, and from then on he's going to be puzzle. And that's quoted from a Rivash, the Tshuva in the Rivash in Siman Reish Samach Vav. Okay, do we got that halacha? Just nod your heads or thumbs up so we can go on. Okay, good enough. Shlomo, you're good? Okay, thanks. Okay, along comes the Ksos. The Ksos has a kasha over here. It says the Ksos like this. Now, I got to be honest, I stopped halfway through the Ksos when he asked this question. He goes on to try to answer the kasha that he asked. He doesn't have great terutzim to his question, and he really argues on what it says. Again, he shows that many Rishonim agree with this, but he was bothered by this psak. I want to read inside because it has to be, it has to be, what do you call it? It has to be very baruch to us. Who may divra rivash in Siman Reish Samach Vav. This psak is a rivash. V'hainu. Kisheheyi bebezdin v'charkach bo eidim sha'avar aveir. V'ein anu yodem masai avar. We don't know when he actually was over the aveir. Mukminan oso achezkaso. He has a chezkas kashrus. V'amrinan, we're going to say, hashtu the Isra. It was only right now that there was a reyasa in his chezkas kashrus. But we shtelevek the chezkas kashrus. The guy was a kosher aid, and it remains like that until we actually know otherwise. That part's all fine. Okay? Says the Ksos, "V'kunche shev shmaisa and shmaisa gimel perek dal sheherachnu bezeh lahakshos." And if you look in one of my other svarim, he says in the Shev Shmaisa, okay, that he wrote before he wrote the Ksos. You know what the Shev Shmaisa was? You've heard of that before, correct? Okay? The Shev Shmaisa, I think I told you this. Well, when the Ksos got married, you have 7 days of Sheva Brachos. So he took 7 of the most tricky and difficult in Yonim and Shas. And each day of the Sheva Brachos, he gave a big Shir Klali at the Sheva Brachos in honor of the Simcha. And then they were compiled into this book, the Shev Shmaisa, 7 sugyos. Not that I had, but this must have been knockout Sheva Brachos to have been at. Usually we dislike going to Sheva. But if you would have known you were going to the Shev Shmaisas, it probably would have been interesting to have been there. So says the Ksos, in the Shmaisa, I asked the kasha like this. There's a din in the Gemara, mikvah shenimdad v'nimtza chasir, b'reish nida. The beginning of Masechta Nida, it's also Gemara in Kiddushin, but the biggest sugya is in the beginning of Nida. The Gemara is a din of mikvah shenimdad v'nimtza chasir. You measure the mikvah that used to have 40 sa, but nimtza chasir, but right now it turns out, it only has 39 sa. The mikvah is pasul. You don't know when that happened, and people have gone and used the mikvah. Tyrus everyone brought to the mikvah, etc. So it says the Gemara, called Tyro Shanasu Agabav. All the tyros that were brought to that mikvah to be matayr them are all timeos. Yeah, you have to assume everything is tameh. Why? Mishum deika tarti the reyasa. There are 2 chazakos going against you. Number 1, they made a tameh al chezkaso. We have to establish the tameh guy, al chezkaso. He's tameh. And we have to know that he was matayr himself. And we don't know that because we're not sure about the mikvah. He has a chezkas tumah. Tzveitin, the second chazaka the Ksos says is, Harei chaser lefanecha. Is what we call the chazaka da hashta. Right now, in front of us, the chazaka da hashta is that the mikvah is chaser. Hear the idea? That's the Gemara. The expression, this expression came up when we were learning Daf Tes also. There's tarti l'reyasa. There are 2 chazakos here that are going against. A chezkas tuma Okay, I'm going to spell this out for me just to save some time and not bother myself with trying to get answers out of you and unmute and the whole thing. The Chezkas Tumah is a form of a Chazaka de Meikara. The Gavra was a Tameh, and we assume he is unless we know that an event transpired that for sure changed that status. Chezkas Tumah. That Chezkas Tumah is combined with the fact that there is a Chazaka dehashta. There's another Chazaka. Hari chaser lefanecha. The mikveh is chaser right now. You can't go to a chaser mikveh. You take the chaser lefanecha, the Chezkas Tumah, boom, and the guy is tamei, and nothing was good. That's the Gemara. Says the Ksos, let me ask you a kasha now about this psak in the Shulchan Aruch. V'im kain, if so, hachanami, over here also. Name Oki mamon al chezkasa. The first chazaka, remember, let's go through the case. Levi was made, right? That Reuven owes Shimon money. Okay? We find out after that Levi was pasal le'edus, but we don't know when did he become pasal le'edus. Okay? So it says the Ksos, there's a uke mamona al chezkasa. There was a chezka, who had the chezkas mamon? Again, Levi is made that Reuven owes Shimon money. This I am asking you to unmute over here. Who has the chezkas mamon in that case?
What were the names again?
Levi testifies that Reuven has to pay Shimon money.
Shimon.
No.
Reuven.
Reuven had the chezkas mamon, right? The only reason why I changed that chazaka is because there's another interactive moment.
Because I'm claiming it's not actually his, I guess. Huh.
No. What changes that chazaka was that Levi was made, there was eidos that Reuven owes Shimon money. Right? Eidos means something. Eidos is a great raya. Right? So the chazaka de meikara, the chezkas mamon, right, was changed by the eidos. But now I have a question where I don't know if that eidos is actually legit or not. It says the Ksos, uke mamona achezkaso. Reuven, the original owner of the money, has a chezkas mama. Very puzzled lefanecha. And in addition to that, the Ksos says, right now we know that Levi is puzzled. Put those two things together, and how could it be that we allow the case to stand that Shimon keeps that money, like the Rivash and the Ramah Paskin? It shouldn't be like that. There's a tarti l'reya, so we're combining two different chazakos over here. Got the idea? Exactly the same as the case of the mikvah and nimdad, the nimsa chaser. So you combine the chazaka de meikara of the tamei with the chaser lefanecha, and the chazaka de meikara of Reuven owning the money, with the fact that Levi is pasal lefanecha. Says the Ksos, so I don't understand this din in the Shulchan Aruch. I would have thought that it shouldn't be like this, that the din should have been adarabah that Shimon has to give the money back. Along comes the Nesivos. And the Nesivos says, I disagree with what the Ksos says. I'm going to read to you the Nesivos inside right now. Says the Nesivos, a very short little piece over here. The Ksos has a tema on this psak. Ma'ishnomi mikvash nimdar v'nimsa chaser, the tyros to me'elam afreya. Vitam de ika tarti the reyes, so he made tomel cheskaso, ve Hare chaser lefanecha. Hachanami, the Ksos asked here too, ika cheskas mamo. The money was Reuven originally. Very pasal lefanecha, and Levi is pasal lefanecha. Ayin shah. Says the that was the easy part. Says the Nesivos, Ofianius daitinira de lo kashem. In my humble opinion, that's not a cash at all. Zok the Nesivos. The shiny hasam b'tayris, the shnei chazakos hamavarosim, u'mitztarfin the varir shenechsar mikodem. Says the Nesivos, you're making a mistake. Yeah, the Ksos and Nesivos argue all the time. Says the Nesivos, you're making a mistake, a toes. The pshat in the mikvah shenimda v'nimsa chaser is that I have two chazakos that the Nesivos calls are mevarir, that clarify for us, that tell us what's happening. Okay, chezkas tuma is a chazaka de meikara. the guy was tamei, he's still tamei unless they know that changed. Chaser lefanecha tells us there's a chazaka dahashta. Right now the thing is chaser, and that means it probably was chaser, right? What is now might have been true lamafrei. Again, remember we saw that Tosas on Daf Tes, right? The chazaka, the meikar is stronger than a chazaka dahashta, but here we have two things that go with each other that indicate to us that the guy is tamei. Mash'ein kein chezkas mamon. Lav chazaka hamivareresu. Says the Nesivas, the chezkas mamon is not a chazaka that clarifies, that's mevarer anything. It doesn't tell us facts. Rak she'ein yecholim lahotzi miyad hamuchzak below raya mitam svara o mikra. Says the Nesivas, all a chezkas mamon is a way of saying that you can't get the thing away from the other guy who's the muchzak unless you have some kind of a raya. We learn that from a svara, from a pasuk, but a chazaka, a chezkas mamon, the Nesiva says, all that is a concept of a muchzak. Possession means something to us, but it never tells us that mistama, that's the way things are or were or will be at all. It tells us now, if you're the possessor, so the other guy can't get that thing away from you. Therefore, the Nesiva says, you can't come to me mitzari patarti the reyasa. You can't come along and say, well, we know Levi is puzzle, and we know that Ruvain was the bailim over that mammon. That has nothing to do with anything. There's no such thing as if you were the owner, that's the way things are, and that's the way they will be. All chezkas mammon means is, if you're currently a physical muchzak, we're going to let you keep it unless the other guy can prove otherwise. But you can't combine these two things. And as the Nesiva says, lo chazi osam shnei chazakos this derufe, you certainly can't be mitzaref those two chazakas. Now, it's very clear that what you have here is machlokas eksos and nesivas. The Ksos's opinion is that chezkas mamon is in fact a function and a concept of chazak de meikara. Right? And therefore, he feels that it's usable to create a tarti l'reyasa, and that's where he argues on that psak of the Rivash that the Ramah quotes. The Nesivis, right, comes and says, no, right? All the chezkas mamon is a concept of a muchzak. Hamotzi mechaver l'varaya. If that guy's holding on to it, he can stay holding on to it until I can get it away. I have to prove somehow or another, but if he has the possession, so okay, we're going to let him keep it. If we don't know what to do at all. Now, what we were trying to introduce today, okay, is that perhaps that machlokas lamaisa is the machlokas here in the Gemara. As much as you're going to claim that a chezkas mamon is a chazaka de meikara, right? Then you understand why Rab Nachman says Tainas Bari is not better than that. Okay, and that's why, like the Ramban points out in Baba Basra, right, that if I don't have a chezkas mamon at all, yeah, so Tainas Bari could probably win. But Yehuda's argument is that no, Bari ושמא Bari Adif, because right, the chezkas mamon is only a concept of a muchzak, and to that a Tainas Bari actually could be stronger. That could be enough of a proof against the concept of the raya of a muchzak, even though it's not a strong enough proof to actually change around the facts that we know were true in the past. Now, we are officially out of time, so we're going to end things over here. Tomorrow, we're going to do a